Well, a very good afternoon on the 12th day of July 24. I was just thinking, I think I was up at Achern this time last year because I remember something about the 12th of July, talking about it. Sure it was anyway. But anyway, I'm back out in Strathfillan. I decided to leave quite late today. I was enjoying the sunshine around about the Strathfillan, so I left at about 2:45, and the purpose for that is the cloud that's in the sky is meant to break up a little later in the day. I'm in no rush and there's plenty of daylight at this time of year. But anyway, we're here because I'm going to the Holy Pool of St.Fillan. It's a short distance from here apparently. There's a little robin. I've got a beautiful little robin in the garden. I've one of the friendliest little things I've ever seen. After last year's carry on, the old robin came back after we made up, and well, she's had a clutch, and there's one. She's Andrew, look after you. So every day, this robin, I mean, he comes into the house and everything in the back door. But he comes to the window, he comes to sits on the railing outside the back door. I open the door, I'm having a cigarette, he comes down. Would there be any chance of something to eat, please, Andy? Oh, give me 5 minutes, will you? And as I say, he comes indoors. So, it's a sort of rough track here, Andy. Oh yes, I can see it from here. A lot of midges around and little flies and stuff. There's a few great tits there. The chaffinch up the tree there. There's some great tits on that round. Well, we're going down to the Holy Pool, Annie. Blessed by St.Fillan himself. And you'll hear the background traffic, the busy 85 heading west just behind the trees, but it's a noisy road. It's traffic nowadays is horrendous, isn't it, on old carriageways. Well, here we are, Annie. This is the pool. Let's explore, shall we? Again, it's not, it doesn't give you really great, easy access to these places. You've just got to make your own sort of way. Lucky I've got my staff with me today. St. Fillan's Closier. I think I mentioned it's a sort of pastoral type staff. They carried it everywhere. I didn't know this. I carry this most places too. And, I'd like to have been here in complete silence, not with traffic. Oh, there's a pathway I need down through. You're coming down this way. There's an absolute path. Here we go, Andrew. Look. The Holy Pool sign. The Bernane Bell, one of St. Fillan's holy relics, was used in the healing ritual and is now on display at the National Museum of Scotland. So I'm going to visit and see that. Let me just read something to you. At this point, the River Fillan deepens and broadens into what is known as the Holy Pool. Ah, so it is part of the river. You can see it over there. Wow. The pool is divided unequally into two by a rock formation that extends back into the field above. The deeper upstream section is known as the Pool Navain, the Pool of the Woman, and the lower pool as Pool Nanfea, the Pool of the Men. This peculiar division of the pool and its designation as holy derived from its connection with an ancient healing ritual that was performed in the pool for many centuries. Tradition has it that St.Fillan's first chapel was built on the north bank of the Holy Pool, though no trace is to be found today. And so the waters became imbued with his miraculous powers. These powers were thought to be particularly useful in the treatment of mental disorders, though other ailments were also treated here. I think I mentioned previously that he's a patron saint of mental illnesses. Well, somebody's got to do it. There's plenty of people with mental health conditions. Excuse me. The healing ritual, each month at the end of the first quarter of the moon. See these moon cycles, I knew they were important. The sick gathered on the north bank on the pools, that's where we are, and immersed themselves in the waters of the holy pool. I don't fancy it with the clothes on any. The women in the upstream section and the men in the downstream section, while their relatives prayed. Before they left the water, they had to collect 9 stones from the riverbed. Once they were back on the bank, they had to walk clockwise 3 times around each of 3 cairns set up on a mound behind the rock, dropping a stone each time. There is no trace of the cairns. As well as the stones, they would drop a piece of clothing that was most associated with their ailment. The patient was then transferred a mile downstream to the ruins of the priory at Kirton. That's where we visited on the 8th of July. In the centre of the floor was a flat stone under which the saint was said to be buried. In front of this was a wooden rack-like structure known as St. Fillan's bed, to which the patient was lashed, well, tied up, not lashed, tied up. Their head was placed in the font, and the arrangement was completed by placing the banane bell over their head. The patient was then covered with hay and left overnight. I think you're just as well opening a bottle of Prozac, aren't you? The next morning their relatives would return to check the ropes if they were loosened. The patient would recover. If the ropes were still tied, they would have to try it all over again. So there we go, Andy. So the lower pool's down that way, and assuming this is the upper pool, this is where the woman would have jumped in to collect her 9 stones. So we've got that pathway here. It's a shame about the traffic, Andy, isn't it? It's so close, it's just literally just over there. But think of the millions of people who pass this road and don't even know this is in here. And don't even know anything about St.Fillan. We'll click off just now and we'll see if we can make our way around to that lower pool. So through here is the, appears to be the lower pool. It's not very good access, I'm afraid. And I wonder if the cairns they're talking about, that's a sheer drop over there. I wonder if the cairns they're talking about that are no longer visible are possibly these rocky mounds. Because I noticed another one just back there a bit. But unfortunately there's not a... See, what they should be doing here is making a very decent track and steps for people to get down. Perhaps even stick their head into the pool. Can we see any? There's not a lot we can do here. Not terribly much at all. No. Not really, Eddie. I'm thinking of going to that bank, but you can't get across the river because so. I'm afraid this is about the best I can do for you. The pools are into the left, one there and one along a bit. But I think there's a trout. I think the planners, when we were building the carriageway, should have brought this all into the equation and into consideration that might be people wanted to come here and have perfect peace by this holy pool. It's difficult to even get a sense of the holiness of it because of the noise. I have to tell you this. It's like sitting in a church when there's somebody playing bloody, I don't know, sort of heavy metal music or something in this. I'm going to have to come back here on a nice calm autumn or winter's day, and when the traffic is much less so. So it's Friday afternoon, of course, and everybody's shooting west because the weather's to be a bit better on the west coast for the weekend, and it's high summer and it's holiday season, so they're all hauling caravans and chance. You see the fish over there, I don't know if you saw it jumping up. I think what we'll do, Andrew, is we'll follow this path and we'll go back onto the track and we'll walk back and we'll try and walk out to Kirkton Farm again from the west. Shouldn't take us terribly long, there's no rush anyway. And we'll take our flask of tea with us on our shoulder bag. How's that? That's a great idea. There's another sort of mound that looks like a cairn, you see, so I was thinking that this possibly what they meant. But at least I know where the holy pool is now. From there.